Hi everyone, Tom was here, back at it with not a mystery box this time, but for a very special unboxing opening. I guess not really an unboxing. It's not in a box. It's this little item right here. But before we get into that, I have a question for you. What constitutes a Grail as far as the collector's community is concerned? I'm sure everybody has their own opinions on what constitutes a Grail and the items that they consider Grails in their collection. But do you subscribe to the theory that there's more than one Grail? Do you have to sort it by genre? Do you have to sort it by different ways to go about it? Like if it's a music Grail or a movie Grail or something like that, or can you have multiple movie Grails? But basically, what is your opinion on what constitutes a Grail? Because even people that have a Grail in their possession or a top item that they wanted to get, even people that subscribe to the multiple Grail theory, have one they consider their holy Grail, their top prize, as it were, their greatest item in their collection, or one that they feel is the greatest item in their collection. And today, I feel that I have my holy Grail here, the top prize in my possession. Now, this took a little bit of time to get sorted out, and several people were involved in this, several companies, I guess, were involved in this process to make this work. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about my top Grail here and how we got to this moment, because it took a lot of time, on Tom Was Here.
Hey, how do you like this? I'm Danny Grail, and you're watching Tom Was Here.
Okay, so as far as getting the Grail, it was not an easy feat. In fact, it took a lot of effort. As I mentioned on several times during the channel, I am a bargain hunter, bargain autograph hunter by default. I look for the best deals I can find. I look for the best, people if I could get that are higher price, but I generally get them for lower price. I tend to not break my bank for an autograph. That did not happen with this one. This one, it was a certain situation where I knew that I had to get this person now, and if I didn't get them now, I would probably never get them. So this actually came from Autograph City, Primetime Signatures, for those familiar, actually on their eBay page. This item has been on their eBay page for about, I don't know, at least a couple years. And I've had it on the watch list, and I've looked at it, and I've looked at it, and I've looked at it again. And a few other ones came across the wire. They were available. I attempted to bid on them. I was unsuccessful. And then I realized, as kind of time led on, that I realized I would have had to pay the price that had to be paid for this autograph. So I paid the full boat. Like, I attempted to make offers. They never got back to me on any of those offers. My guess is they were sticking to their guns, and I just paid the asking price for it. One would say that would be considered like an investment piece and something like that. But I'll be honest, I'm not planning on, even if things unless they get really dire, I'm not planning on moving this one ever. This will be in my possession forever. The only way it's not in my possession is if I end up getting the same person on the same movie's item with maybe slightly better quality signature. I will say this one is not, even though I consider it my top Grail, it's not perfect by any stretch. It's in a Sharpie. It's, there's some dark portions on it. It's signed in some dark areas, so it's not perfect by any stretch. But none of my autographs really are perfect by any stretch. There's always something with them, which I'm kind of okay with. So I'm not moving this unless I absolutely have to, and I'm not moving this unless I get a better item with a nicer signature from this movie with this actor, which is not happening. So this one will stay in here forever. Now, when I got this item from the eBay page, Primetime Signatures, well packed, came out exactly as described, looked great. I was like, well, I'm going to get a mat for this. And so I initially reached out to Matt's Mats, comes highly regarded, but I picked the worst time in human history to reach out to Matt's Mats. It's his side gig, and he is, he's going through some stuff. He's trying to get stuff sorted out. So I waited on Matt for a couple months, and I will circle back around and reach out to Matt to get something else matted because I've seen the work. The work's quality, and I'll definitely get around to that. But I just couldn't wait any longer. This had to get done. So I wasn't really sure where to go because there's not like a ton of, like, as far as I know, a ton of mat companies out there. And let me admit, I never matted anything ever. I've never framed anything ever. This is the first time I forayed into any of this. And I was on some Facebook page. I wish I could give credit to where it was. Maybe the RACC page or something like that. It was some posting from a company in the UK, Crossbones Collectibles. And Crossbones Collectibles, it does custom mats. And what they were posting was they actually had a custom mat set up for the Jamie Lee Curtis "My Hand in Yours" autograph, which I know a ton of people got, and I got myself. So I saw that, and I was like, oh, I would get that because it turns that small little Jamie Lee one into a larger 16 by 20. And for some reason, even though I don't have the wall space, I love the 16 by 20 size. As you can see here, I just love the 16 by 20 autograph size. I think it's really nice and big, even though it takes up a ton of room. So I saw that. I was like, I'd probably get that. But do you do custom mounts as well? And they said they did. And I was like, that's perfect. So I want a 16 by 20 size because I'm getting them sent from the UK. If I'm getting them sent from the UK, I'm going to pay I'm going to get my money's worth because that shipping was not cheap. That shipping cost almost as much as the mask, to be honest with you. But I was like, well, get me one of the Jamie Lee Curtis ones. You had a choice to pick one. I felt I made the right choice. Some of you may disagree. But I'm going to show that off here. But I also got a 16 by 20 for my Grail piece here. The piece that I got is 11 by 14. So 11 by 14 mounted into a 16 by 20 was always kind of the envisioned idea of what I was going to do with this. But when it comes to the Jamie Lee Curtis one, this shows off kind of Crossbones Collectibles work because, like I said, I did get both of them. I figured if I'm shipping from the UK, I'm going to get both. This one came out really nice. What I like about this especially is that they cut it in such a way where even the borders on the Jamie Lee one is hidden. So it just looks like it's just like framed in there. But it came out really, really, really nice. I mean, that comes out really good. Now, maybe you don't want to pay to have the space for the 16 by 20 for this small little 8 by 10 of Jamie Lee Curtis. You may not necessarily want that. So I went and grabbed this. Like I said, you might not necessarily want your 8 by 10 to turn into a giant 16 by 20, but I love how it kind of came together. And you had the choice of young Jamie, or you had the choice of this Jamie with Michael Myers, kind of the Halloween, back-to-back site poster. So either one I think would have been pretty cool, but it has pictures from every movie as well, like film, almost looks like film cells. Which is awesome. I thought it was a very, very well done. I pulled the trigger on that, and Crossbones Collectibles did that. That's how they got me in. They got me in showing that they were doing frame displays for that Jamie Lee Curtis piece, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. So I was like, I'm going to get that. So I got that from the UK. It took about a couple weeks. It was pretty fast. Steph did great work in getting it well. It was well packed. It arrived great. It arrived safe. But you're going to pay a pretty penny shipping from the UK. So then it came down to frame time. Wasn't sure where to go for framing. I was going to go to like a local frame shop, but then I was like, well, maybe they would get, kind of have me over a barrel in this regard. But what I was looking for your museum glass, your UV protected, your top of the line. Didn't necessarily have to be like the most expensive frame they had, but just a nice frame with that museum glass and UV protected glass. I wanted to make sure that was, part of it. So given I didn't have a bunch of time and I was, not that I was rushing, I didn't have to rush. I was rushing myself. I went to Michael's. I just did a Michael's custom frame job. And so I took it to Michael's. They said it would take about 2 weeks. They got it back to me, I think, a little over a week. I've talked about this a ton. We're just gonna get to it right now. We're gonna crack it open here and see what it's doing. But yeah, I wanted to. I knew I had to do this now, and I knew this was the piece to kind of jump me into like custom framing, into custom matting, into doing all this stuff, and I felt it was worth it. You know, you may not agree, you would be wrong in this sense, but I felt it was worth it. But yeah, it is it's called their masterpiece glass. And they called it the White Glove Promise, I guess you could say. Put the Beckett sticker on the back here. But masterpiece glass, quality anti-reflective masterpiece glass. Use a feather duster to do glass. But this is what I got going here. And so, framing by Michaels, autograph from Autograph City, Primetime Signatures, matte by Crossbones Collectibles, and here it is. This is a Bruce Willis from the OG Die Hard, 11 by 14 sign. As stated in earlier, it's in Sharpie, which is not the greatest. It's not like a paint pen or anything. Definitely, I would say probably a street autograph. If I know like Primetime Signatures does that a ton, which is fine. But you know, over kind of the dark wife beater type thing here. So over some dark spots. So not the greatest. Goes into his mouth a little bit. Not the greatest, but that's okay. Like I said, beggars can't be choosers, and this is going to be a tough get, unfortunately, because of what's happening with Bruce Willis in that awful situation where, you know, he has dementia, and then that's just awful. Like, you know, the hope, you know, and it's something he's been battling for a while. Everybody was trying to figure out why Bruce Willis was doing these like straight to video movies when he could just do this thing, and it's because he was kind of like fading away, you know, unfortunately fading away. And if you read some of the expose reports where he was like on movie sets, didn't know why he was there, it's just awful. Like the situation's just bad. And Bruce Willis is my guy. Die Hard is my favorite film of all time. So if you get a signature from the lead actor in the greatest film of all time, the greatest Christmas movie of all time, name my kid after it. You know what I mean? Like this is the one. Like, look, Nakatomi, Nakatomi, Nakatomi. The clues were there. If you ever doubted this was anybody else, the clues were there. So I'm absolutely thrilled with how this turned out. I you know, for my first framed, matted, everything, you know, my first frame matted item, I'm absolutely thrilled with it. Yeah, this is part of a few items that are gonna completely, the old wall here is gonna be completely altered with the inclusion of this item and a few other things that are coming through. The Jamie Lee Curtis one actually is in my office. I put it in my office at the moment, but could not be more thrilled with how it turned out. And I know it's a big long-winded video of me talking a ton to just show you off an item that I already knew what it was. I apologize for that. But look, I figured I'd make a special occasion to put out an item that I consider my Grail items. Now, some of you in certain videos pull out what they consider a Grail item every week. You know, you you get a mystery box, or you just get something framed and you put it in a video, and that's fine. I won't be doing that a ton. This is the most I've ever put through on a single item, and I'll probably never do that again. Like I said, I'm a bargain autograph hunter. If you give me a deal, I'm in all for the deal, but I can't, it's hard for me to justify the top cost for it. But I can do that for Bruce Willis. You know, because unfortunately, Bruce Willis is, you know, in a bad way, and I knew that it'd be a situation where, you know, I'll sadly never get to meet the man. You know, I was hoping that would be something where he might show up at a con or something down the road, but with this diagnosis, it doesn't sound promising. So I figured the autograph was the only way to get that sort of item. And when I've dreamed about getting autographs, you know, if I ever had a consideration, there's certain, even when I wasn't collecting autographs, there was exceptions that would be made, and Bruce Willis was an exception in this regard. But I wanted to ensure it was on an OG Die Hard item, the original Die Hard. Said arguably debatable, arguably the greatest action movie of all time, my favorite movie of all time, the greatest Christmas movie of all time. No debate on my end, debate on your end. But that'll do it. Yeah, Michaels did a great job on the framing. I'm gonna have to. I accidentally put the 11 by 14 in there like an idiot and got some tape on the thing. But beyond that, I think they did a solid job with the framing. I think the framing looks great. I think the mat looks great. I love the inclusion, similar to what you did with Jamie Lee Curtis, of the different cells. Including a Han cell, a Carl cell, a Tony cell. I just love this film, and like I said, this is the top item for me. It will definitely make its way onto the wall, and it will be the new centerpiece of this wall. That'll do it. My top Grail, a Bruce Willis original Die Hard film, 11 by 14, matted to a 16 by 20. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you are new here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to support me on Patreon like John Bailey did, you can do so. Link is in the description below. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt, a TomWasHere t-shirt, you can do so at Spreadshirt, as well as links to my eBay store, Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, and the Pennsylvania Autograph Collectors Association. Links are in the description below. But when it comes to the next opening, unboxing, mystery box, or the next video, I will see you soon. But until then, bye everyone.